Hi everybody, it's Connie, and tonight I decided to do a stash buster. And why are we doing that? Because I actually have time. Steve is at the racetrack. He just called me. He had a great day of rain driving because it's been pouring all day long. And that's always a good time to teach people how to drive. So he was pretty excited. Who knows? I could talk about cars all night, even though I'm not all that interested. I know, horror. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy these stash busters because I've been doing them for a while now, and every time I make them, I experiment a little bit with how many cards I can get done and still have some energy at the end, right? It takes a couple of hours to make a big batch of cards the way that I do it. So I'm hoping to be off of here done by 8 or so. And that means if you're working with me, then I'm hoping I'm going to cut enough to make 12 cards. We may get 10 made. Anyway, I just hope that you can join me. So I gave Moose his bone and he is in the background. So if he starts bothering me, I may get an interruption, but otherwise we should be good. So I am going to turn my camera around and kind of show you what we're making tonight, okay? All right, let me get you rigged up in my camera holder here. And I am going to zoom in just a little because I feel like we're zoomed out an awful lot. Okay, that's pretty good. So I want to, every time I do a stash buster, I pick a base card, okay? And I'm just setting up my camera real quick so I can see comments. Anyway, I often make more than one because I get tired of making the same ones over and over again. But this one takes a little more cardstock to make a base, and then it uses, it folds in. It's just a double gatefold. I tweaked it a little bit. Most A2 cards are like 4 1/4, and I made it only 4 inches because it's easier to, the score measurements, everything is just easier doing it if you make it a 4-inch card. But I did keep it at 5 1/2. So it'll be 4 by 5 1/2 instead of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. But that's okay. It'll still work for your embellishments and that kind of thing. And so here is your screenshot if you want to make your own template or whatever for the future. You know, it kind of is nice to have this in your stash because it's hard to remember all the measurements all the time. So there's that. Now let me show you what paper pack I'm using tonight. I showed this the other day, but I'm using this Colorplay Playball paper pack. I got this dirt cheap at the expo. It was one of those ones where if you bought like 3 paper packs, you could pick one for free, and this was my freebie one. And so it's not like it's a full paper pack, but it's not huge. It's only 6 sheets of 2-sided paper. So I get basically all of these patterns. It's just that they're 2-sided. So see, I have the baseball with the stripes on the back, the baseball players with the bats on the back, and then I have 2 sheets of these cut-aparts. Now, I'm a little torn about the cut-aparts, whether I'll be able to use them or not. I made my own embellishments, and so I'm gonna hold these off to the side because there are some really cute ones that some of these would make really nice card fronts like this one. I think the baseball would look good. I think any of these would look good. These are a little large, but I could cut them down. So I'm torn on these. So I'm setting these two aside. The back paper is like the basis, basically. It's green, and it's the only green in the entire pack. So I'm okay not using that side. I'm going to set those aside for a moment. Okay. So I'm using 4 sheets of paper. Plus I have the cover, and the cover has a print on the back that's an all over kind of thing that I can use, or I could even cut that down. So I have some play with that a little bit. I hope that you have a paper pack that you love, and hopefully yours has more embellishments than mine. Mine had no embellishments, no stickers. I could, I'm not into baseball, so I don't keep baseball stamps. I don't keep baseball themed anything. Oh my gosh. And so I used my popcorn. If you watched my live today, I showed this pop and buy set, and I made a couple of cards using the pop and buy set that I think these are turned out really cute. I just love them. And I used the little jigglers on them that are so much fun. I used one on that one too. Anyway, I went ahead and I used that, and I made some popcorn. And I cut a bunch of stars. I looked through my stash. I had some pretzels, and I'm like, these are not the right size, but we'll see. And then I used my circle punch, and I made a bunch of baseballs. And basically, I just traced, like I laid one of these circles down like this, right? And traced it to make the two sides of the baseball, and then I just drew the red lines on. Some are better than others. I messed around with marker. I didn't like the marker as well as the pen. I have a stencil in that pattern that would have worked really good too. But anyway, I just thought, now I have a few embellishments, and I pulled this one out of my stash from when we did our calendar like 3 years ago. I'm like, why do I still have this stuff in my stash? Let's use it up. So that's what I have, and I'll probably pull out some, some bling, but not too girly bling. Now for the card bases, I'm going to set these aside for a moment. I have this set. Hey, Stephanie, if you're watching, do you recognize this? This is from Club Scrap, and it was in a kit called Fossils, and it was from 2004. It is 21 years old. It has been in my stash, not lying, for like 21 years, okay? And I have a couple of packs of it, so there's like some of it in a little bit different dye lot. Look at that. This particular pattern was like a neutral in that pack, and if you look at it, it's supposed to be like, the top of those rocks that have like the embedded fossil look. But I think on these cards it's gonna look like dirt, and most of it'll be covered up. It's a good way to use up this paper that I've had sitting around that is not my taste. It's been sitting around for like 20 years. So it's time to stash bust. It's time to use it. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing that I want to do is I want to cut my card bases. Now we need, each 12 by 12 will make 2 cards, because you can see this gatefold is going to take up the whole 12-inch piece of cardstock, okay? And then it'll be a 5.5 and a 5.5. So all we're going to have left is a 1-inch strip, and that's it. So it's important that you use 12 by 12 for this particular card. if you only have 8.5 by 11, or you have other standard bases that are an inch smaller, what you could do is just make them a half, like make this a 4 1/4, and then, you know, like this is your standard card base, and then just fold the front back like that, and make it like a single gate. You know what I mean? Like this wouldn't even be part of the card. It would just be this folded back, and that makes a beautiful card just on its own. I just thought it might be fun. I haven't done a double gate for a long time. So the first thing we need to do is cut our cardstock down. I have 6 sheets because I want to make 12 cards. I don't know if we're going to have enough to make 12 cards, but I'm going to prep for it like I do. So the first thing we need to do is look at our paper. Now, when you hold your paper out, one way it's really stiff and it doesn't want to bend. And the other way it's like boing and it just curls like crazy. Do you see that? How it curls like crazy? And the other way, nope, it's pretty straight. I'm hoping you can see that the way I'm showing it on camera. So what we want is we want it to be curly away from us, like this curl laying on our trimmer like this, okay? So check each piece and see which way, like this way it doesn't want to fold at all, and this way it's like boing, it wants to just fall. That's the way we want it on our trimmer. So again, this way is no, this way, yep, that's the way we want it, curving, arching over our trimmer. Hi, Stephanie. Did you hear me when I said what paper this is? This is Fossil from 2004. 2004. This is like a true stash buster. So this way does not turn. This way is like boing, and see how it curves? We want that laying on our trimmer this direction. So just go through each sheet. You should have 6 sheets. Okay. I'll explain that as we move on. I'm going to lay it in a pile, and one sheet at a time I'm going to cut. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 11-inch mark, or the, you know, on your trimmer, just cut 1 inch off. Okay? And then slide it to the side. So for each piece, we are going to, this paper is so heavy. It's gonna be some work for me, because back in the day, put it at the 11-inch mark, cut off 1 inch, and then lay it over to the side. I remember when Club Scrap had the most insane, thick, textured papers. And this one's textured. I don't know if you can see it on the back. It's got like a bumpy texture. It's really cool. All right, for each one of these, I'm cutting off 1 inch and then laying it to the side. Sliding it on so that the curve is this way. Cutting off 1 inch, laying it to the side. Fossil. You know, I have a lot of the Fossil collection because at the time I had so many beach. This is all scrap, and I'm not sure I'm going to use it, but I'm going to set it to the side in case I need it for decorating later. I doubt I will be decorating with that. So, I'm debating. Do we want to score all the scoring first and then cut? Because it's a lot of scoring. Let's score. I don't want to confuse anybody. It's just sometimes it's easier to score and then chop it in half. It's just takes less time. Okay. I'm getting out my giant scoreboard. I'm getting out my bone folder. Here's the pieces. Now they're 11 by 12, okay? And we are going to score these so that they turn and they're a 12-inch across our trimmer. That is how we are going to score these. So flip it to the 12-inch. So it shows 12 inches all the way across. It's a full sheet. And I'm going to do one at a time. And I am going to score the first one. What you see is going to be the outside of your card. If you want this to be the inside of your card, then you need to flip it over. Okay? All right. So we're going to first score it at 4. This is heavy cardstock. I'm going to do it twice. And at 8. 4 and 8. And we're going to flip it like a pancake. And we're going to score at 2 and 10. Okay. Next sheet. Put it on. Make sure it's 12 all the way across. We're going to do 4 and 8. And I'm scoring it twice because it's crazy. We're going to flip it over like a pancake. And then we're going to do 2 and 10. Okay, next piece. We should have 6. Make sure it's 12 going across. And we do 4. I'm going to get faster here. And 8. Flip it like a pancake. And do 2 and 10. So while I finish these last few, make sure it says 12, 4, and 8. So today, when Steve is gone, I am always like looking for stuff on TV to watch. And I like to watch a lot of YouTube videos, like crafting videos and stuff, because of course he's not gonna watch this. This is my 5th one. 4 and 8. 4. I'm saying this for my sake, just as much as for yours, because I don't want to screw it up. I only have 6 sheets of this. Flip like a pancake and do 2 and 10. 2 and 10. Anyway, so today there's this Netflix show that's been showing up as a series on, you know how they show like your up and coming or things to watch, and it's called The Residence, and it has not looked good. Steve and I have looked at it a couple of times and we're like, no. So I knew he didn't want to watch it, and so I thought, well, it's a perfect thing to watch while he's not here, because I know he is not going. He has already said no to those. Okay, we're done with the scoreboard. You can put that away. Anyway, so I started watching it, and oh my gosh, it's so good. And I didn't realize it was by like Shonda Grimes. And I don't know, it's just, I'm very impressed. I don't know if you guys have been watching it. Okay, so then here we are with all of our scored pieces. Let's get our trimmer back in business here. And we're gonna turn these so that the scores are going horizontal. You know what I mean? Like the scores are going sideways across our trimmer. And we're just gonna trim these in half. We're gonna trim them at the 5.5 mark. This is 11 inches across your scoreboard, or across your trimmer. See, it goes to the 11-inch mark. So don't have it turned the wrong way. Make sure it's to 11. And then you're gonna slide it down to the 5.5 and trim. And then we have 2 card bases right there. And we're going to do that to all of them. We're going to just slide them, make sure it's at the 11-inch mark to start, slide it to 5.5, and trim. Okay. Anyway, so I have been watching this show all afternoon. And to the point where Jen and I were gonna go out to eat, and I forgot to wake her up. She works she's in training this week, and so she's working bizarre hours. She's working from like 4 until midnight or something like that, which is a bizarre shift, but that's what they're doing. And so I was supposed to wake her up, you know, so we could get dinner together, and I totally forgot. I've been watching that darn show all day. All right, last one, 5.5. So now I'm done with this for just a moment, and I have all of these card bases. So on the card bases, the way that you fold them in the direction so that you're burying the bump on the paper. So I'm going to show this up close, hoping that you can see. When you score, you have like a bump on your paper, and you want to hide the bump, right? And see, since we flipped it over, the bump is on this side of the paper. We're going to hide the bump. So all of those get folded as a gate. If you know, like me, like I don't know how I feel about this side showing. I think it's okay. It's kind of, it looks like dirt to me, so I think it's going to be okay. But if you really wanted it to go the other direction, you can still go against your scores and fold the other direction. It's just that some cardstocks will like fray on the side if you didn't score it like the right direction or whatever. I hope that makes sense. One of the reasons I had you flip it like a pancake was so that your scores will help you. They'll work with you, and they'll look nice and clean instead of having the chance of jaggedy scores. I know if you're using, I'll just do every other the way I. If you're using like the two-tone cardstock like that Stampin' Up! Has, or from Close to My Heart as your card bases, it will fray if you don't score it. And so make sure that you score it. The other cardstock that looks frayed really easily, like if you fold the wrong way on the score line, is that dyed through heavy duty cardstock that Stampin' Up! Has. Let me see if I have a sheet of it down here. So like this cardstock that is solid all the way through, the color of it is so vivid and so beautiful, but the fibers of this paper make it jaggedy if you don't score it in the right direction or whatever. This past old paper, I mean, come on. This paper is like seriously 20 years old, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that it's the heaviest cardstock I think I've ever used. I mean, some of their stuff was so intense. Gosh, it makes me sad for days gone by, that's for sure. I'm just folding and scoring, and I'm putting these in a pile. I'm just going to shove them in a pile. And I'm just keep on going. Remember, I told you I had like 12. I don't know. I may have time to do 12. It's like you just... So just keep folding. So what are you watching? What, you know, the other thing, I think you recommended to me The Pit, and I got Steve in on that one, and so he was excited to have a series that he really liked. It's been a little while since we watched something that really captured our attention to the point where we couldn't stop watching it. You know, those are the funnest shows when you have those. And then right before he went to the racetrack, we saw that The Handmaid's Tale, we were behind, we hadn't watched the last season of that. And so, you know, we watched that one. The Handmaid's Tale is very, you know, it's not for everybody, but we really got into it and started watching it. It's so dark and deep, and oh my gosh, that sometimes I can't watch it all the time. I need a break from that one. It's like I can watch it for a while and then I'm like, I don't know, this world is sad. And it starts eating at my emotions. So I know it's boring to watch me fold cards like this, but I'm on my last two, and then we'll start cutting our paper up. I'm just kind of alternating, you know, these different ways or whatever, but you may not be able to do that on your paper. You may want to follow that bury the bump idea. Bury the bump. Okay, I have my 12 cards. How are you doing? I tend to be kind of fast at this. Now, the other thing too is that I know what I'm doing. You know, like I know what I'm doing next. One thing I've noticed when I'm trying to keep up with somebody else is that I have to wait for them to do the step so that I can follow along and do the step. And they're sometimes already moving on to the next step. And I'm still catching up. So don't feel bad if you're not exactly where I'm at. And I'm trying to give enough of a pause in between so that you guys can catch up. But basically I have 12 card bases here, and they're all gatefold. And I have mine different colors, back and front. So I stacked mine together and I recreased the sides and the middle, because that does help all those creases like that kind of get into place. All right. I'm going to put these in here so that I'm ready. Now, the next step is to get out your trimmer and take all of your papers that you're going to use. I have these 5, and we need to cut the strips off the tops and get them ready to trim. So I'm going to start by cutting that strip off the top of each paper. I really like when companies have the strips on them like this, because I like to know what company they are when I have them stored in my stash just loose. Sorry, I'm a little off tonight. I had too much coffee today. I had a lot of coffee. And I know. My daughter, so we have a fairly new place in town, 7 Brew. I think it's called 7 Brew. It's a new coffee place, and it's a chain, so you may have them in your area. And I'm not as crazy about their coffee. And so my daughter brought me some tea from there, and woo, that tea, that got me zinged up. I was really surprised. I'm like, wow. Okay, now here's the thing. Look at your patterns and figure out whether you want them vertical or horizontal on your cards, okay? Like this bat, I would want this one horizontal. These players have a direction, so I want to make sure those are, you know, right side up, so that would be horizontal. These stripes, I can make them horizontal or vertical, and I think I like them vertical. So I'm putting them on my stack like this. And then the baseballs don't seem to have a direction, but the stripes on the back do. So I'm gonna set it on my trimmer, see how it's the vertical stripes are going on the back. And then I have this weird one like this. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to cut paper that's going to fit nest into these sections, right? And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and cut them into 5 1/4 inch. So 5 1/4, and I'm just gonna, for now, I'm gonna cut 2 of each, 5 1/4 and 5 1/4, and then you end up with like a strip. And the strip that I have left, I'm gonna put in my pile for maybe later. So 5 1/4 and 5 1/4, and I have a strip that's in my decoration pile. If you have a trimmer like mine, basically what I'm doing is I'm setting it at 6 3/4 mark. Do you see? 6 3/4 mark right there. And then I'm cutting, and then I'm sliding it over to 5 1/4 mark and cutting it. And then I have my strip and my page. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because it takes longer to cut it at 5 1/4 and take that strip off and then get your paper rearranged. This way I'm just sliding it. So slide, and I have my strip. So you can see I'm just cutting up all the paper. Gosh, do I want that vertical? No, I want that horizontal. Okay. So again, 5 1/4 and 5 1/4. Okay. We're still going to need our trimmer. The first thing that we need, we have 12 cards, so we need 12 base, if you want to decorate the inside of your card, and I think I do. You need 12 that'll go on the inside. Now, look at your cardstock. Like, I'm looking at these and I'm thinking I would not have to put a piece on the inside here, but I would want to say on the inside here, I might want to decorate that. So I think for my cards, I only need 6 panels to go on the inside, on that big flat part. So I'm going to cut these at, they're already 5 1/4, and this is a 4-inch stretch. So I only need, I want to leave a little border. So 3 3/4. Oh, is that too confusing? Now, what do I want on the inside of those? I'm looking at my, I really love this. I love the stripes. So I'm going to start making 6 of these, and they're going to be 3 3/4 each. And so with my, you can cut them just, you know, go to 3 3/4, chop, 3 3/4, chop. But I'm going to count down again. It's a weird thing. Just start cutting 3 3/4. So I go 1, 2, 3 3/4, and I make a cut. And then I do 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3/4, and I make a cut. And then the last one I just cut at 3 3/4, and I end up with 3 panels and another strip that I can use to decorate with. So far so good. So there's 3. And now I'm going to take my other sheet and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3/4. That ends up at 8 1/4. Chop. And then I go 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 and 3/4. That ends up at 4 1/2. Chop. And then the last one is 3 3/4. So there's my 6 base panels. I really like that a lot. After, I'm trying to decide if I want to decorate the inside of these. Wow, I probably should. It really does look nice, doesn't it? Yay! Okay. So I probably need 6 more. And if you are, you know, like me, you'll be cutting more anyway, too. I think I'm going to use this print. This is the back of that cover sheet. I'm going to cut them together. I'm going to try to cut them together. They're super these pages are slippery. They're like coated, and so it makes it hard, but 3 3/4, chop, 3 3/4, chop, and then 3 3/4, chop. So now I have 6 more. So now I have my 12 bases and a whole bunch of little strips. These will go on the inside of the card, like right here. Now we want to cut strips for the front. You definitely want to decorate these 2 fronts. Now, when you open, you might want to decorate these 2 fronts too. And in my case, I have enough paper. I definitely want to decorate as much as possible. And so I am definitely going to cut enough to do these 2 pieces and these 2 pieces because I want this pack gone. I want to use it up. So I'm sticking my stack of panels up here at the top, out of the way so I don't accidentally cut them or do something crazy. Now, these are 2-inch strips, and I can, as long as I have 2 of each, you know, you want the 2 on the front to match, you know, you want these 2 to match, and you probably want these 2 to match. So as long as you have 2 of each per card, it doesn't really matter which paper you use. Especially if you're using a pack that kind of coordinates like this one, they all kind of look fine together. So the problem, of course, is that you need 1 3/4 if you want a little border. So I'm stacking my pieces together. That's hard with these papers. If you are not able to stack, pause me while you work. But I'm counting down. I'm at the 12-inch mark. I'm going to go from 1 3/4. That puts me at 10 1/4, and I'm going to cut. So do you see that gives me 2 panels? That'll do 1 front card front. Do you see that? And then I'm going to do another. There's 1 and 1, 2, 3. And there's another card. So I'm just piling these up. I'm going to move my camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm making piles like this up here on my desk. Okay, I hope you can see well enough to see what I'm doing. I could zoom in more, but it's like, I don't know if that helps. It makes it harder. You'll have to let me know. Maybe I'll zoom a little bit so you can see. All right, and now we do 1, 2, 3/4 and chop. Here's another card. That's card 3. And then we do 1, 1, 2, 3, and chop. And that's 4. Now, if I don't love how this looks, I can flip it over. Oh, I can't flip that over because look at that. My people are going the wrong way. But I'll be able to use a different pattern. 1, 1, 2, 3/4. There's another one. That's 5 cards. And 1 3/4 at the end. See, these are slippery, so they're sliding on me a little bit. Okay, so I have enough for 6 cards, and then I have these 2 strips, and these 2 strips are just a little bit small. I could use them anyway. I could just, you know, sometimes what I'll do with these smaller strips is I'll put this on and then I'll put it with another one like this, you know, just to make up that extra space on your card. And so these little extra strips, don't get rid of them. You just never know what you'll want to use. So I'm going to put these little extras in my scraps. All right, I'm ready to do more, and I think I'm going to take one of each and 1 3/4 and go 1 1, 2, 3/4. And by doing that, this is what I just cut. I have 2 of the baseball prints, 2 of the little baseball player prints, and so I'm going to set these on the table, and I'm going to just keep going. 1 1, 2, 3/4. 1 1, 2, 3/4. 1 1, 2, 3/4. And then 1, I'll just put it at the 1 3/4 mark. Okay, so these little tiny shrimp boat ones, I'm going to put in my stash of things for decoration. And then I'm going to sort these. See, there's 1 card, there's 1 card. And then I have this. This feels big. Did I cut that too big? I got to check that one. Just a second. It feels too big. Yep, I cut it too big. All right. That's better. Okay, so now I'm going to put these in my piles. I now have enough for 1 2 3 4 5 6 cards. I'm going to show you my piles. So I have, this would be like 1 card, 2 cards, 3 cards, 4, 5, and 6. And you know I did 12. So I'm going to be a little bit short, but not terrible. But I am going to go ahead and cut these like I did the other one. I'm going to just, this will be all of my paper, all of it. So I'm going to do 1 3/4. I'm going to just keep going. 1 1, 2, 3/4. 1 1, 2, 3/4. One of the things about like the Echo Park and the Cartabella packs that, you know, they just have so much paper in them. You're not going to run into the problem that I'm running into where you run out of paper. That's a very rare thing. Hi, Heather. How's it going tonight? 1 1, 2, 3. So the city has been out cleaning the streets and stuff for the marathon tomorrow morning. And then of course it just rains like crazy today. And so everything just is drenched. It's been kind of interesting watching them clean up our streets and stuff. I wish they would. It's a good thing they have the marathon. I mean, honestly, it's like, otherwise we would be like, oh, we would never get our streets cleaned. It's only because of the marathon. Okay, so I have two. There's another one that looks big. I think I keep counting that wrong. Hold on a minute. 1 3/4. Okay, that's better. How weird. Blank, blank. And more little strips because I miscounted. And there. So I think I'm done with my paper trimmer for a while. I'm gonna put this on the floor next to me. And now I am ready to just go gangbusters and start adhering. Now, you can see I have fronts and backs. If I can only do 10 cards, I'll only do 10 cards, whatever. Okay, let's see. Let me get my camera straightened back out again because that's really annoying. Let's see if that works. Okay, yeah, that works pretty good. All right, so I get my bases back out. And all I'm going to do now is start putting panels on. Now, what I could do is, in case, I think I'm going to start with my flaps first, because if I really run short on my flaps, I could not decorate, or I could not put a panel here and just cut these in half and use them on the flaps. So that's a possibility. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Okay, so I'm going to hold off on the giant panels just for a little bit, and I'm just going to start adhering these. So Heather, I've been talking about TV. Hi, Nancy. Talking about television because I'm looking for things to watch. And, you know, we kind of like the reality TV shows. We're kind of weird that way, I guess. I don't think everybody is into that. But we've always loved Survivor and Amazing Race and Big Brother and those kinds of shows. I just love them, and I watch them all the time. And this is the season when they have those on. So we've been busy watching some reality television. But again, that's not for everybody. Not everybody really likes reality TV. Look at how cute this is. See? I think these will be really nice masculine cards, baseball themed. And if I have enough to put something on the inside, even better, right? Look at that. Cool. So I'm going to leave them undecorated in the center for now, but I'm going to keep working on these. You know, Nancy, I was thinking about you because, when I am coming this Sunday, I'm so happy that I can see you guys. And I think I'm gonna bring my scrapbook layouts from that Stampin' Up convention thing, because I don't think I've had a chance to hardly show anybody. I thought maybe you guys would want to see those in person. It's kind of fun to see stuff that's not even available, even in preview yet. I was like, wow, that's fun. So I might bring those along. I could bring my swap cards that I got too, if you want me to. I just think those are kind of a cool thing. All right, so I'm just gonna keep making cards, let's see. I think I'll do a couple of the baseball players. This paper is so interesting. It's got a coating on it that makes it really slippery. Have you guys ever used Colorplay paper before? It's like slick. I gotta put my baseball players right side up. I just thought it would be really nice to have some, I like that. It'd be really nice to have some masculine looking cards to send to JJ, because I feel like I'm always sending, you know, flowers and girly things, and I'm sure that there's not very many masculine ones in the group. And it's interesting that a lot of people think sometimes they do masculine and they still put flowers on it. And it's not that men don't like flowers or whatever. It's not that. It's just that, you know, I really try hard not to put flowers on everything. My nieces are not girly girls, and my daughter is more of a girly girl than my nieces are. And so I'm always looking for, you know, colors that suit them better. Ugh. I got out my cutting mat to use tonight because I am getting a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of glare that is on my glass mat when I use my lighting. Because you can even see glare like over here on the table from just my lights. And I've been messing around with different lights and different lighting, and no matter what I do, there's glare. Oh, good. I'll bring those, Nancy. I'm glad you feel that way. Let's see. I think I'm going to do a couple more baseball bats. How are we on time? It's been almost an hour. So, and we're putting things, decorating our cards. So it usually takes me an hour to 45 minutes to cut all my card bases, depending on how elaborate they are. And then, do I want the baseballs on this or the stripes? I think the baseballs. I think that my last Stash Buster, I had one Stash Buster that went for really close to 3 hours, and I'm like, that's too much. I'm tired. You know, it's like you can do a lot of cards in 3 hours, and it's really great, but it's really hard to have a conversation for that length of time. It's like, yeah, I'm done with that. Okay. I'm gonna run out of my ATG adhesive before I get all these on. I can tell. It's when it starts getting kind of to the end, it has a little bit of a drag on it compared to when you first put it in. So I can tell when that's getting close. I'll put the baseball bats on the inside of that one. Now, the other thing that I probably, now that I'm kind of getting closer to the bottom of my stack of strips, is I can start using these smaller strips like this. And you can see you could get 2 out of each thing. They might be going the wrong direction. That's the only issue. Like here, this one would go either way. This one I'd have to do this way. But this one I could do vertical. I think I am going to go ahead and cut these. I'll cut them at 5 1/4. Do I need my trimmer? Do I need my trimmer? Can I just chop? Probably. I'm just gonna chop. I just know I'm gonna run out a little bit, and these are 1 and they're about the right size. So yeah, I'm not okay. Oh, I'm gonna be okay. Yeah, I can trim these. I'm gonna get out my smaller trimmer and cut a few of these. Five 1/4. They're so slippery, these papers. There's one. Gosh, slick. And 5 1/4. Okay, so there's a couple more. I'm just trying to make sure that I have enough for all my cards because I cut so many cards, and it gives you guys a chance to catch up too if you are behind where I'm at. Although you're probably doing something entirely different from me because, I mean, honestly, like, how much of this paper do you have, right? Nobody probably has baseball paper. So, just something to think about. It doesn't matter if you're behind. I kind of like these smaller pieces on the cards where that card base with the dirt look shows through. That is some ugly, you got to admit, this is some pretty ugly cardstock, really. I mean, like, you really do have to think about how on earth you would ever use that. To me, it looks like dirt, though. So, it works for these. What do I want to put on the inside? Baseball bats. So tell me what everybody's working on. I know you're busy. You're busy working, but I'd love to know, like, if you're making cards or you're working on a kit or something you have in your stash. Yeah. All right. I'm making progress. I'm trying to see how many more cards I have because I'm running out of little paper pieces. I could put baseballs or stripes. I like the stripes a lot. I'm tempted to get out my liquid glue because I'm just so much faster with it. The other thing I have, so you may have noticed that earlier today I was using like a duct tape dispenser. This adhesive is incredible, and you know, Joann Fabrics always had it, so whenever I was walking through and had like a 40 or 50% off coupon, didn't know how to use it, I would buy like their giant, you know, pack of adhesive, because man, that adhesive is really nice. So I think, and so that adhesive is very strong, and super inexpensive, although now that we're losing Joann's. Has anybody been in since the closure stuff has been happening? I have not gone shopping for a little while because, frankly, with this time of year, my craziness with my cross stitch stuff and the Stampin' Up! New catalog and all of the expenses with my hobbies this time of year, I've been afraid to go into stores. It's like I spend so much money already. I've been cross stitching like a maniac. They have like a lot of cross stitch events in the spring and the fall, just like boy, okay, I'm down to, I have those and these. I have enough for like 2 more cards, or if I don't decorate the inside, I could do more. So let me do this one where it needs more. I'm running low. I really like that baseball. I think I'll do that one. A club scrap card. Ah, that's a good idea. You know, so the club scrap, I got that one so crooked. Oh my gosh. I don't think it'll show after I put all my stuff on the front, but boy, did I cut that crooked. So that's a problem with the slippery paper. And when I try to, you know, when I try to cut it 2 at a time, I'm gonna get it crooked. You have to be very careful. This stuff is like, it's like ice, you know, it slides all over. Club Scrap has, you know, a monthly thing that you can order. But if you don't, it's, you know, they have like a Facebook group that you know, they have all kinds of different little challenges and stuff like that. And it's rare, it's really fun. It's very nice. And one of the things there I'm out. One of the things that they do is a birthday swap. So they like you to use club scrap papers. But you know, you basically every month send birthday cards. They send out a list. It's usually between 3 and 5 people-ish a month. And you make birthday cards for them, and then during your birthday month, you get like gobs. I think I've shown you some of my cards that I've received. Wow, this is so slippery. Even my adhesive isn't wanting to stick to it. Let me, I may have to get out my liquid glue. Let me see. Have you guys, do you need a refresher on how to fill an ATG? I'm going to take the old out and get out a new tape. I should have had one ready to roll, but I don't have one in my drawer. Let me grab one, just a sec. So I get my ATG rolls. Scotch doesn't make them anymore for this acid-free 1/4 inch gun, but Tape Jungle does, and they come in rolls like this. These rolls, I think last time I calculated it, it was under $2. I want to say $1.70 or $1.80 because I get them by the case. I buy so many. Anyway, so you get it started like this, and you get a leader going. Let me just, I'm got adhesive on me. that is abnormal. I don't normally have this much trouble with the adhesive. But anyway, so you got a leader and you put it on here. And when you slip it on, there's a little notch right on the sides, right here and right here. And those little grooves on the reel kind of fall into into those notches. And then you basically take your tape, and I'm peeling it off because it's annoying me. Hold on a minute. And you make it so it rolls counterclockwise, clockwise, and then to the bottom, and you go over and under and around, over, under, and around. And then when it goes around, it goes to the second reel. So make it so that it goes under, on the underside of the roll, over this bump, under this bump, and around to here. And then on this, there's a little notch right in there. And you basically just hook that in there and wrap it around. And then this little thing kind of, you can see it falls into the notches, falls into place, and you lock it. And by locking it in, that way it doesn't come flying up all over the place while you're using it. That's it. Okay. Ready to go again. And sometimes it takes me a minute to get my tape going. There we go. Since I was peeling it off as I went. One thing I've noticed with these, I've been wearing these like Color Street nails. And ever since I switched to those, this adhesive, when it sticks to that nail polish, it is stuck. So sometimes I have to mess with the adhesive a little bit because of my nails. All right, so there's that. This could use a little something. I could just leave this as is though. Now I'm ready to put these centers on and see if I want to, I could put, you know, just that alone it looks really nice just as is, but I'm gonna go ahead and adhere a bunch of these. I'm putting adhesive on them just so I can stick them down. Assembly line adhesive. And I have a big enough table that I can put adhesive on and set them on my table and not have them stick to each other. And then this one. So I really do like how this looks. Look at that. Isn't that neat? Okay, so I'm just going to do all my cards. One at a time. You can see I could put the wordy one in there. You decide. One thing, I really love how all the patterns just coordinate. I was seriously thinking about using the Wildflower Birthday paper pack from Stampin' Up! To do this because, you know, it comes with all those die cuts and it has all the die cuts and all of the different stickers and, you know, so little you have to like make for yourself. I'm gonna hold off on that one a minute. I'm gonna just put these on a few. I want to make sure that my skimpier ones get done first so that I don't run out of a pattern that I need. I'm looking at like this one that has stripes, and I'm thinking if I decorate that, it is going to have to be this pattern because I don't think the stripy pattern would look as good, right? So my goal with these Stash Busters is always to have so little paper left that I don't feel guilty throwing out what scraps I have left. You know what I mean? I do not want to have a ton of paper left over. To me, that's like kind of, I don't want to store anything. I love buying these packs that are so inexpensive. And then using them up like this. Look at this. I'm using the whole pack. All I added was my cardstock bases. And it's gone. Look, I used every single piece I cut. So that was 5 sheets of the cardstock. I think that's amazing. All right. Where are we at? 10 after 7. I have all of my cards essentially decorated except for embellishments. Ta-da! I think those turned out super cute. Look at that. I know, cute for guy cards. That doesn't seem right, does it? All I have left of my paper is scraps. These are not my scraps that I have left right here. So I could use this one as a belly band on a card if I wanted to, right? I could make one that has a belly band. That would be really neat. I love the idea. And that'll be easier to decorate too. So I'm going to keep one back for that. I have these pieces that I'm not sure I want to use them. I suppose I could make more belly bands for them. These little pieces like this, sometimes, you know, if you need something on the inside just for like a strip or a stripe or something, it's kind of nice to have. So I'm kind of keeping these off to the side, but if I throw this away, this is all I'm throwing away right here. Isn't that awesome? I love it. I just love it. Okay, let me get out my decorations. So on my cards, I still haven't cut these apart, and I think I might as well, because I'm not going to use them for anything else other than these cards. So I think I'm going to get out my trimmer, and I'm going to go ahead and cut my cut-aparts, pocket cards, and these little strips like this I don't keep. All right, let's see. And gosh, trying to figure out what to use. These are kind of big for a 4-inch card, but I mean, technically I could make a few more cards. Like, you know, I could use these as just card, like normal A2 size card bases, and then put something like this on the front. And so I'll use this. I won't throw this away, but I don't know if I'll do it tonight. All right, let's see. I really like this. I really like this foot-long stadium hot dog thing. The Boys of Summer, that's really cute. this one, I'm just not sure. Like this one for me would be good to use as a front panel on a card or something. So I'm going to set it aside. This play ball. Here's the problem with the play ball is that my cards, since I made them 4 inches, if I put this on the front, essentially it takes the entire card. You see that? So it's just a little big. And so these big 4x4s really do need trimmed down quite a bit if I'm gonna use them today on these cards. So I'm gonna trim that down and make it a little more reasonable. See? That's better. So that's what I'm gonna do. And if I don't use these, again, not the end of the world. They're just little pocket cards. This one would be good if I had a circle. I could throw that through a die cut machine and just cut it out as a circle. Because that one is actually kind of fun. That one would be neat on the belly band. I might set that one aside. I love this. There's no place like home. This one, again, maybe a 4th of July card. I don't know. I'm looking at these thinking, I don't know if I'm going to use them because I'll show you what I have. It's really, what I have is really good. So that's enough to get me started. All right. So basically I have my stack of cards, and what I want to do is what I'm thinking about doing. I want to put, like, on the inside some stars. You're all kinds of amazing, like that. And then I have a I made like this little hoping your day is the best ever, and I thought that would be really nice, like on the top. I have a ton of that twine. I probably should put some twine or something on those. Talk about fussy. I don't know how I feel about making twine on all of these. I should have done that ahead of time. So it is pouring outside. I can hear it hitting the roof. I think today it was only supposed to storm for a really short period of time, like a couple hours or something. I didn't think it was supposed to go all day, but here we are. I like that. I don't know if I want to do all that for these, but isn't that cute? That's my plan. Okay, let me just get this going. I'm gonna put this on. Now, the other part I was thinking of was on these ones where I put all this slick cardstock on the inside. I need a place to write, and I think I'm going to have to use my stars for that. Like, I could put, I guess I could put something white in there. Or I could use easily like a white gel pen and just write on here a little message. I really like how that looks. And then on the outside, I want to make a little collage of popcorn I wanted to make peanuts, but gosh, have you tried to make a peanut, or do you have a stamp that has a peanut? I do not. But I just thought this was really cute. Like, make little collages like this for the outside. I think that'll look pretty good. So it looks like I need to make my little collages ahead and just start adding them. Let me grab so I'm going to sit here and make embellishments for a few minutes. There's one. How many of these do I need? 12. I'm glad I made more than I need so that I can prep some of these for later if I want to. I think my baseballs turned out cute. In my live earlier today, I showed how I made these pretzels. I mean these popcorn bags. And like I said, Stampin' Up! Has a popcorn set from the past that has a die of a popcorn box. And I found it at Daisy Lane last time I went. And I feel like that was my find. That was my big find for going there. For those of you watching who don't know what I'm talking about with Daisy Lane, basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Daisy Lane was a scrapbook store near me that was owned by a couple of sisters and their mom, and it was amazing. Huge store. They carried everything. It was just absolutely incredible to have such a big store so close, and they're such great people. And then their mom got dementia. She got sick, and one of the sisters is like, I don't want to do retail anymore. And so after their mom died, they basically decided to close the store. And because they still loved parts of owning that store, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, there we go. Because they still loved, owning parts of that store, what they started doing is they've started buying estates, and people who have passed away and have all these crafts in their cupboards, or they have they've just decided they don't want to do it anymore, and they're just cleaning out everything they own, or whatever, for whatever reason, they're moving, whatever. And they just started buying all of these estates of crafty goodness. So can you even imagine, like, if you came and shopped my house, for example, or something? It would be so cool. I have so many things that are so much fun, and what I would think of as great finds. And a lot of them are things, people have had for so many years. So it's kind of a neat idea. And so then they have these big sales where they sell all this stuff, and I find all kinds of older things there. You know what I mean? They just, lots of neat old things. So All right, I have a whole bunch of these to do, so let me show you how I do these assembly line. I hate doing tags, ribbon, string. Look, I threaded them all on at the same time, and then one at a time, I'm gonna tie that knot. Anyway, so sometimes their sales are just a couple of estates, and you might go in and shop one of their sales, and one of the estates is somebody who is really into, you know, knitting, and I'm not into knitting, but there's yarn everywhere. Like it would be a quilter's heaven, a knitter's heaven, or, you know, it's just like, you just never know what you're gonna find. And most of the estates have a lot of retired Stampin' Up! Products. It's definitely worth a trip if you, even if you live like in the Chicago area or something and it takes you 3 hours to get there or whatever. Oh, so worth it. Especially for their big sales. So twice a year they have this thing where they have people, a whole bunch of people like me who purge my stash and price everything like garage sale, and then they sell it, and then they take a little commission off of it, and I get the rest of the money, and I don't even have to be there if I don't want to. So that's very nice, because literally hundreds of people see your things, and that's where I find deals like for these stash busters, stuff like this. It's amazing. They have paper pack, full Stampin' Up! Paper packs for under $5, and you know, maybe Echo Park is a little harder to get for a deal. Like last time I was there, Echo Park was costing around $5 a pack, brand new, not open, not used. But you know, Echo Park online has some really great pricing. So you know that if you go to the scrapbooking expos and things like that, you know, you're going to find, like I think my last scrapbooking expo I went to down in Collinsville, I got it for $6.50 a pack, something like that. You have to buy a bunch of them, but $6.50 is not that far from the Daisy Lane price. So when I'm pricing stuff, I price it to sell. I don't want to take it home. I don't want them to have to deal with it later. There you go. I guess that didn't take me too long. It's still a pain. It's still a pain to do all those little tags. All right, so I am just going to start doing my cards stuck together. All right, so for each one I made like a little star. And I made a little blue star. I made this little tag. I can always trim that later. And then I have this "You're All Kinds of Amazing" to go on the inside. And the reason I'm putting the same message in all of them. This could easily be a birthday card. I could just write happy birthday in it and sign my name. Or, you know, it could just be have a great day, you know, hoping your day is the best ever. Done. Okay, so for these, since this paper is so slick, I think I'm going to use foam adhesive. Let me see what I've got. The reason I want to use foam, when you have really slippery papers or things like glitter, for example, it really does help to use something extra sticky, and foam does that trick, has that trick. Now the other thing I could do, I could use my cool things here at the bottom. I like that. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna assembly line these, you guys, because it takes so much longer to do them a little at a time. So I'm just gonna put foam on all of these, and it's boring to watch somebody do this, but if you learn tips on how to bulk make cards, that's awesome. So I make bulk cards all the time, and I try to send, you know, several out per month to JJ so that she can have enough to give out to the elderly. I like that. I like being a part of it. It makes me feel good. As a nurse, I know how much stuff like that means. I'll never forget. A lot of schools would have their like kindergartners draw pictures for the hospital patients or the cancer patients, and oh my gosh, it is, people would display those, like, and they would tell you about them. When you'd walk in the door, like you'd say, hey, hi, and you know, introduce yourself, I'm your nurse today, and they'd be like, hey, look at my card that I got today. I mean, they were so proud of them. You don't even realize how much it means to somebody. It's really something. Okay, foam tape in place. Let's see. And then I do think I'm going to use these little strips just a little bit. I'm going to put this across here. That. I'm going to cut it. Whew. I'm telling you, this paper is crazy slippery. I'm gonna put that there, that there. And put that on there. Look at that. I think I could put that, hoping your day is the best ever. I think I could put that on the front. I think that would look really nice. I may on the rest of my cards. All right, there's one. One down. I'm just cutting pieces. And I'm gonna put that there. I'm determined to use this up. Put that there. This is gonna take me the rest of the time just to put all these together, but that's okay. So I hope you're in the decorating phase on your project. And oh, look at that. That's a fun car. I think I might hold one of these back for my father's birthday. I really think he would like it. My dad was a big baseball freak. He still watches a lot of sports, but his wife is more into football and basketball. So he's kind of switched gears a little bit, but he still watches his share of baseball. But he always liked the Cubs. He's a Cubs fan. So I grew up watching the Cubs, and I played ball for many years. But watching baseball is boring to me. I don't know. It's just not it's fun to play, or it used to be when I played, but watching it, ho-hum. I know, that's sacrilegious, right? Oh, look at me, I've got two stars on that one. Come off of there. I'll use that. There's that, there's that. And the popcorn. I think this is turning out really cute. I like how it's looking. I say cute, but you know, in a masculine way. It wouldn't have to be for a guy, but it does look a lot more masculine than most of my cards. So I certainly have enough people in my family who really love baseball. I could totally give this to anybody in my family. I feel like I need a weight on that. All right. Gosh, I don't know who's watching, but I haven't heard from anybody for a while. So I hope you're working right there along with me and making progress. I need to be making Club Scrap birthday cards too. I have not. I'm out. By next month, I have to make more, because I usually make like a batch like this. I'll make a big batch, and then I may make them just a little different, but I like to make fun folds. I like to make them so that when people get them, they're really unique and different, you know, and I like to make them different every time. So I spend a little time like this, make a whole bunch, and then I'm good for a few months. You know, you only send them out in dribs and drabs. You don't have to send out all of them at once, right? You just, as the birthdays come up, you just pull from your stash. which is really great. And it's really fun to do cards that are a little more generic so that that way you can just add a quick happy birthday or thinking of you or whatever message on there. There's a couple, I'm not typically a big fan of like card kits and stuff like that, but the card kits that Stampin' Up! Has been doing lately are really amazing, and I've become a bit of a convert on some of those. I'm like, okay, they are unique enough that I can make these just as is and be pretty happy, or I can, you know, tweak them a little and use the basis and be happy with how that turns out. I mean, really. I like this one with the blue ball player front. I think it turned out really nice. That's awesome. I keep picturing, do you remember when Close My Art had those sequins that looked like red, gold, and blue stars? They were around, the 4th of July, I think. They went with a 4th of July pack, if I remember right. But that would look super cool on here. I'm slowly using up all my little pieces. All my scraps are almost gone, you guys. Look at this. That's wild. I'm almost done with that. I'm using them up. Using them up. Boy, that's crooked. All right, there's the inside. My popcorn. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Every one I look at, I like even more, which is, it's a little weird because, you know, essentially they're all the same. But I like how these are turning out. And I know that these are not perfect in terms of, you know, I need to use this shaker. Maybe I'll use that on the front of a card, on one of the fronts. I don't think anybody is going to look at this card and go, wow, she cut that piece of paper really crooked, or that, you know, that doesn't go with that. I mean, they're just so happy to get a card. I'm out of my messages. I must not have too many left. I thought I made 10 messages, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't make very many. that in. Do that popcorn. One, two, three, 4, 5. I'm not too bad. Not too bad. I do have a few. Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna do. I was gonna show you guys how to make the popcorn bucket, how I made these, but I don't really need to, because I showed it on my live today, so you can go back and look at that. And I did assembly line style, which makes it so fast. Just like this, where I'm putting these, you know, kind of assembly line. And I don't have another message, so I am going to put this on the inside now. Do I want to put this on the inside? I was looking at these pieces. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll all work. And I'm about out of stripes for the bottom, so like that. I'm gonna put one of these on. I'm just using all my strips and stuff. Just gonna decorate it up a little. I might put a star. Let's see. I have a couple of yellow stars that I had in my stash, like the acrylics. Remember the little acrylic shapes that we used to get from Close to My Heart, and then you use a bunch and have a bunch still? That's perfect for cards like these because they're not going to be mailed. They're going to be handed to someone, so that'll dry and that'll be perfect. I have tons of those little acrylic stars and shapes, and I've been trying to use them because, you know, they just sit in your stash, and I don't know what I'm saving them for, because I don't want to be, the more I shop at Hobby Lobby or at Daisy Lane, no lying, it makes me realize how much I don't want to be one of those people that has like a house full of stuff that I never used. I don't know what I was saving it for. I don't want to be one of those people. I want to use it. I want to make things. I want people to look at them and go, wow, remember when, you know, Connie made this really cool thing for us or whatever. That's what I want. I want people to remember the neat things I made. I don't want to be remembered for having a big stash left over after I die. It's like, no. Look at that. Isn't that neat? That looks really cool. Do I need to? No. I think that's good. All right, I'm down to my last few, and you too, Stephanie, down to your last few. How amazing are we? Look at all the cards that we are finishing here. That is incredible. And 2 hours, we've been here since, I think 6, I think I started at like 10 after 6, after I yammered for a while. So, you know, we are going up on the 2-hour mark. I think that's excellent for the number of cards that we're going to have, and we're going to be all set. We're going to have a little stash. Just awesome. You know, this paper really does look more like mud or dirt. Oh, I got that star over a little bit. And it's gonna have to fold. I'll have to do something with that. Let's see. That. Cool. Cool. All right, I'm gonna put a dot glue on that. Let's see if I can pinch that for a second. I'll put a little weight on it. Let's see. One. So I have this one at 1, 2. I have a lot of cards done. You guys, I think I only have one card after this. That's amazing. That's amazing. I am so excited. This one needs a little something on the outside. What do I need? I don't know, but it needs some color. If I put this one this way and this one this way, will it open right? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to put this over as far as I can. I'm going to take this piece of foam off. This is going to be tricky, but I'm going to put this one over here. And I'm going to put this play ball over here. Okay, let's see if this works. That'll work, and it'll slide in too. That works. Woo-woo! This is my very last card. It's the one that I was going to do the belly band for. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. And then I'm going to real quick show you the finished cards, and we can call it a night. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've been in a whirlwind. But, oh, this turned out so nice. I'm so happy. So happy. And do I have enough? Do I have any strips or stripes that I can use? Nothing that looks good. All I have left is this. You guys, look at that. This is it. I have... I've used all my paper except for those pocket cards, and I'm not even sure I'm gonna use them. I don't feel guilty even a little if I get rid of those. So I'm gonna trim this just a bit, and I'm gonna make a belly band for this one. I'm gonna put adhesive there and adhesive here, and it will cross over each other. There we go. I don't want it too tight. I want it loose enough for it to slide up and down really easy. And then it adheres a little here and a little here, which is great. See how that will just slide up and down. And then, look at that, I didn't even put adhesive on there. I'm gonna put the popcorn on there with foam tape. So I'm going to put that across. And I'll put my little popcorn on there. And that will be my belly band. And then on the inside, do I want to put, there's no place like home? This is, I really like this. I think I'll use this. There's no place like home is amazing, but I don't want anybody to feel bad if they're not at home. I mean, this is going to go to people in maybe in acute care or a nursing home. That would be bad. There's no place like home. Too bad you can't be there. Terrible, terrible. All right, let's see. That's bad nursing humor, just so you know. All right, get my belly band going here. See if I can do this in a way that makes it easier to slide on and off. I'm gonna have to mess with this a little bit and make it so that once it's off, it goes off and on really easy. Oh, okay, look at, this is my trash right here. Not bad, not bad at all. It's going in the garbage. And then, let's see. So I have my belly band card. There's one, there's 2, 3, the play ball one, 4, 5, 6, 7. I might get out more of those acrylic stars and add a few. There's 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. And my last one, 12. Ta-da! We're all 12 done in 2 hours. Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Look at that. I still didn't use my shaker. Why didn't I do that? I'm going to have to cut one apart. I'm going to have to use some of those pocket cards and make one more card to use up that shaker. I absolutely love this. You guys, look at that. Isn't that exciting? How are you guys? Did you finish? I'd love to see them. Please post your finished cards because this is really cool. I'll do a reel or something and show these as like a reel so that you can just see a couple of the finished cards really quick and you don't have to like watch 2 hours to get through it. Oh. Anyway, thank you for joining me. It's been fun and another Stash Buster done. Isn't that exciting? Oh my gosh. Next time I think I really do need to look at that Wildflower birthday pack and we can do that all together because I know several of you bought that. This popcorn is so incredible. I am so happy with it. It is going to be available. This one's going to be available on May 6th. And then I'm always on the lookout for other popcorn themed. I have a lot of popcorn sets. I can show them to you. Hold on just a second. I'll grab what I've got. I can't wait to show you because it's crazy how much I have in the popcorn genre. Let's see. Okay. So my big find from, this is the new one, May 6th. This one is the find that I got at Daisy Lane that was in somebody's stash. And look at the dies. See, it makes a popcorn bucket. It has the little round. It has smaller sized popcorn. It has the squiggles. This one is really cool for the bucket, but not so great for the popcorn itself. And then this one is great for the popcorn. So it's like having both is amazing. And if I ever see this again, I'm going to grab it because I know one of you will definitely want it. And then the Stamps of Life also had a popcorn set. I don't even know what year this was and if it's still available. It may be, but the dies on that also cut. Let me grab him out of here. you can see it has the circle, you know, pop on the, it cuts out the little thing plus the popcorn. And I like the words on this one. You're so corny. What's poppin'? You're a pop star. Cute. And then the additional thing with all the puns, you keep popping into my thoughts and that kind of thing. So I have several of these like popcorn sets. I actually have 2 others that are, they're like the popcorn is mixed with other things. But I love finding stuff to add to the collection because honestly, using a combination of all of these really helps me to be able to make really cool, you know, pages or cards or whatever. And so I'm always on the lookout for something that adds to my stash. But I love this card so much. Okay, I gotta say goodnight. Have a lovely weekend. And Nancy, I will see you Sunday. And gosh, enjoy your day tomorrow. It's supposed to be beautiful. Bye-bye.